Hi, I'm Sharon. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I've been thinking recently about arrangement, or more particularly, arguable arrangements. I think arrangements of music are par for the course. It's necessary to tailor the music to the instruments that you have and the ability of your players. So I've arranged loads of music over the years to be suitable for some of my beginner pupils and so on. And on a larger scale, I do remember I arranged Rachmaninoff's Piano Concerto, the second movement, the really delicious middle movement. And I arranged it for a really bizarre ad hoc group of instruments. It was for 2 pianos and then this bizarre mix of a couple of clarinets and a bass, and I don't know, it was a really strange mix, just a small ensemble with 2 pianos. And I had to arrange it, of course I had to arrange it for a project, but also I had to arrange it so that we could play it with the instruments that we got available, and also to a standard that we could manage, particularly the piano part, which for me I could not manage, and so I arranged it for 2 pianos so that the lecturer could help out and play the tricky bits that I couldn't manage. You know, that's standard, isn't it? I do remember talking to my friend earlier this year. I remember us talking about the composer Ennio Morricone. He died earlier this year, sadly. And I remember talking to her about the theme from The Mission. I never actually saw the film, it looked far too heart-wrenching, but the music, when I first heard it, I remember listening to Gabriel's oboe, and I remember it really affecting me so deeply as a young adult back then. And we were chatting about that, and then kindly my friend arranged it for flute and piano, and she recorded it and sent me a sound file for my birthday, because she couldn't come and see me for my birthday because my birthday was in the first lockdown. And you know, it was such a beautiful arrangement and she did such a marvellous job and they played it so beautifully, it quite brought a tear to my eye. And so arrangements are a thing, definitely. However, I think we need to be careful how we sort of deal with arrangements. Orchestral music is easily adapted to piano, but that doesn't necessarily mean all music should be adapted and arranged. You know, you would not play Rodrigo's Guitar Concerto on the piano in any form of arrangement. I just don't think you would. You might disagree, you could prove me wrong. But you need to be very careful to consider the character and the timbre of the instrument that you're arranging from and to. The same friend actually and her husband played during the signing of the register when I got married, and they played an arrangement of the Romance from Mozart's Eine kleine Nachtmusik, and it was a beautiful arrangement that was played on pipe organ and flute. And I think the breathy qualities of the pipe organ and the flute, which I guess is a pipe of sorts, kind of did a good job in expressing the nuances of the bowing marks and the sort of the pressure and the push and the intonation of each note. Whereas I've seen an arrangement of the same piece, the same Romance, on a grade 3 piano piece. And I just think it's asking a little bit too much of a grade 3 performer. And I don't think it does the music justice, because how do you get that tone and touch and the expression of the bowing marks, which is so important in the original authentic string performance, on a piano when you're at grade 3? I think that's a really tall order. And so if you're going to take that on, if let's say it's a piece that you absolutely adore and you're desperate to play it, I think it's really, really important to at least listen to the original lots of times so you know what you're aiming at. Otherwise you're just doing a bit of a mathematical reproduction. And going the opposite way, I've seen a piano piece, it was Rondo alla Turca, Mozart's Rondo alla Turca, poor Mozart again, that was written as a grade 5 flute piece. And although it's a fab tune and it's a great piece, I don't know if playing it on the flute is the best choice. Unless, you know, again, none of this is definitive, it's not absolute. If you absolutely love the piece and you only play flute, then I suppose, you know, better than not at all. But how can you get these big full-bodied chords properly expressed in one top flute note? And I remember saying to my student, because she really wanted to play, so it's like, okay, let's play it. But I was saying, you know, you need to give that a full tone and hold it for the full value. She says, but the music doesn't say that. No, it doesn't. There's no articulation marks, but listen to the original and you've got these big full-bodied chords, you know, and you miss it if you just kind of plop out a note. That's not it at all. And I tell you what else was really confusing. So I'm playing the piano accompaniment of a piano piece where the flute is the solo. And it was so difficult for me to not keep taking over or to change the key. Actually, I think it was in the right key, but I kept wanting to take over and play the tune bit because I'm trying to play the piano part that I know is the piano solo, whereas I'm just doing a very stripped down piano accompaniment for the flute to be the solo. And it's like, oh, this just isn't right. I just feel it's all wrong. The best I've ever seen, which was like, oh no. But I guess in the context I can let it pass, was again, poor Mozart. It was Mozart's Piano Sonata in A, the first part of that piece, for a beginner recorder book. And bizarrely, they'd stuck extra notes in that Mozart hadn't put at all. So you've changed the key, you've changed the instrument to a recorder, and then you've stuck extra notes in. However, I guess for beginner, do you know what, just let it pass. But the point remains, I think you need to be careful of arrangements because it's not just the full story. And I think the thing I would say definitely is in exam music or in just general study. If you want to play an arrangement because you love the piece, fine. You know, do it. Music should be enjoyed. But in a general progression of study, I would say steer clear of arrangements on the whole. Because why would you play an arrangement when there's an absolute wealth of beautiful music there for your instrument, purposefully written for that instrument? And if you keep choosing arrangements over the canon and heritage of the instrumental music that's there, I think you're getting a really narrow view and you're missing out on really digging into the knowledge and heritage of your instrument. For example, I know there's a grade 5 option where you could play a flute telemann piece or a telemann flute piece, or the option would be to play an arrangement of a Mozart. Poor Mozart again, he wrote very lyrical melodies, so you can see why everyone wants to pinch them. It's oh, actually no, it wasn't. I think that's the C piece. But the option for the telemann is a Verdi aria. That's right. And again, I absolutely love La Traviata, but I don't know as it should be on the flute particularly. And if you've got the choice, I would certainly choose the telemann because the telemann, he is such a pivotal figure in the history of flute music. And also, so you're learning about the heritage of your instrument, but also if you play the telemann piece, you're going to have to learn techniques that are really important to your flute playing, whereas it's not so much so on the aria. And for the telemann, you're going to have to practice double tonguing, triple tonguing to get the speed and all of those things. And if you didn't choose that and you just kept choosing the tuney versions, as it were, you're going to miss out on learning those techniques as well. And in the same book, I think this might be as the option from the Mozart, I think it's the March from the Magic Flute is one option, an arrangement of that for flute. Or there is an authentic French flute composition, a modern flute composition, which again is a whole genre of music that flute players should delve into. And if you don't, if you just keep choosing the tunes that you know, you're going to be missing that. And so I would say, you know, there's a place for arrangements. and we all like to play things that we know and love, but I think there's a time and a place, and just be careful that you don't miss out on the actual authentic music that was written for the instrument. Thanks for listening. Bye.